Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is another episode in my bag FAQ series where I answer your questions about all things bag related. Today's video I am covering the topic of which bags you should never buy new and which you should buy pre-loved, and also which are the worst to buy pre-loved as well. So I hope you find this useful and let's get started. I should say that there are no hard and fast rules here, and even if there were, there are always exceptions to every rule, so you should just buy what works for you. If you want to buy a bag new, then that's the best decision for you, but I do think there are some guidelines which I try and follow in order to make an informed purchase. The first of which is, generally speaking, the trendier a bag is, the better it is to buy pre-loved, just because of the way the pre-loved market works. And of course there is a scale here. It really isn't black or white, and you do get some super trends like the Gucci Marmont, for example, and you do have much more of the moment bags which I would expect to only last a season or two. Here I'm thinking of the JW Anderson bags, or even Chloe Nile. Chloe has a history of producing amazing it bags, but they do have a fairly high turnover of styles, which makes Chloe an ideal candidate to buy pre-loved if the particular style you want is available. If you did get tired of the bag in a couple of years, if you did manage to get it at a discount and you did want to sell it later on, that really minimizes your losses. So if you know the bag that you're looking for is more on the trendy side and it is available on the secondhand market, I would definitely say that is a good candidate to buy pre-loved. The other type of bag which is ideal for buying pre-loved are those which aren't necessarily super trendy, and many could even be considered classics, but for whatever reason they don't do that well on the pre-loved market. So an example of this is the Fendi Peekaboo, which I have right here. It is enduringly popular. I do think of it as a bit of a classic, but for whatever reason they don't do that well on the pre-loved market, and they're also very expensive to buy new. So something like this is the perfect candidate for buying pre-loved. Other options like this are the Celine Nano, the Louis Vuitton Capucine bag, all bags that I love, but for whatever reason they just don't seem to do that well on resale markets. So those are perfect options to buy at a bit of a discount pre-loved. If you ever want to check to see if a bag does do well pre-loved, then the easiest thing to do is just to go on any resale website, whether that's a marketplace or a proper website. I will list the most popular ones down below. Just do a search for the bag that you're interested in and compare the resale price with the retail price, and that should tell you everything that you need to know. And so it does follow that the worst bags to buy on the pre-loved market are actually those which are best to sell on the pre-loved market. So here I'm very specifically talking about Chanel, and to another extent Hermes as well. Hermes is a bit of a funny one. The resale market is so healthy because they do limit availability on their bags, but for something like Chanel where availability is less of an issue, the resale market is still very high because they do keep increasing the prices. So it is very difficult to score a good deal on the Chanel pre-loved market because the bags are so high, and also because of the price increases. It's not impossible, and certain styles do definitely go up and down in terms of popularity. So I know Chanel minis are super crazy popular now, but they really weren't as popular 4 years ago, which is how I was able to buy my square mini at a pretty steep discount. I think I got it for about £1,200, and that was pretty much new. So it is possible, but now obviously Chanel minis are very popular, which means it's very difficult to find a good deal, and often I will see a lot of minis going for above retail, which is so crazy to me. So I would always say it's worth checking, but for something like Chanel where the resale value is so high, and also there are a ton of super fakes about, I would always just rather spend a little bit more and go new if I can. Again, there are always exceptions. I would always say it's definitely worth checking because you can get certain colors as well. For example, the beige Claire does less well than the classic black color on the resale market. So always worth checking for the specific bag that you want, but if there isn't too much of a price difference, which is often the case for a lot of Chanel bags, then I would always say to go new if you can. I did also want to mention vintage, because vintage is actually a great way of buying Chanel at a discount, and obviously vintage is by its very nature pre-loved, but I have seen some stores starting to stock pre-loved items where they usually only sell new. I've seen this on Shopbop and also a few department stores as well. I would always say stay away from this, because even though you're going to have the authenticity guarantee, they will often come at very highly marked up prices. So it's definitely easier to get a good vintage deal if you look on normal pre-loved websites. Just make sure you're happy with the authenticity, either authenticating it yourself or by going through a third-party authenticator. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions for me or any requests for this video series, please leave them down below. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.